Photosynthesis Literature Research Project by Jefferson Kim. History of the photosynthetic pathway. The first photosynthetic organisms were present approximately 3.2 to 3.5 billion years ago. These were stromatolites, layered structures similar to forms that are produced by some modern cyanobacteria. The first forms of photosynthesis were anoxygenic, meaning oxygen was not created as a product, and oxygenic forms arose significantly later. Evidence indicates that eukaryotic photosynthesis originated from endosymbiosis of cyanobacterial-like organisms, which ultimately became chloroplasts. Modern-day photosynthesis. The equation for photosynthesis is 6CO2 plus 6H2O combined with sunlight energy result in C6H12O6 and 6 molecules of O2. Plants and other photosynthetic organisms contain chloroplasts which capture light energy from the sun and convert it into organic molecules and chemical energy, which is stored in sugar. The first step of the photosynthetic pathway is light reactions. The light reactions convert solar energy to the chemical energy of ATP and NADPH, which are vital in fueling the Calvin cycle reactions. The Calvin cycle is the second part of the photosynthetic pathway. The Calvin cycle uses the chemical energy of ATP and NADPH to reduce CO2 to sugar. C3 photosynthesis and photorespiration. C3 photosynthesis is the most efficient photosynthetic process under ideal conditions, which are cool, moist environments with normal lighting. They are called C3 because the CO2 is first incorporated into a 3-carbon compound. In C4 photosynthesis, CO2 is incorporated into a 4-carbon compound. Photorespiration. When the light reaction portion of photosynthesis performs respiration and consumes O2 to produce CO2. Photorespiration uses ATP instead of generating it and decreases photosynthetic output. It is possibly a remnant of times when the atmosphere had less O2 and more CO2. C4 and crassulacean acid metabolism, CAM, pathways. C4 and CAM photosynthesis are evolutionarily derived from C3 photosynthesis. C4 photosynthesis evolved due to the low atmospheric CO2 concentrations. Rubisco exclusively acts on CO2 instead of O2. CAM photosynthesis is popular in water-limited habitats, as it increases water efficiency by having plant stomata open during the night to conserve water. Change in gas composition due to photosynthesis. This chart details the change in gas composition of the atmosphere before life and with the addition of life. CO2, the dominant gas before, became almost non-existent after. Also, oxygen, methane, and hydrogen were introduced greatly into the atmosphere. Effect of photosynthesis on the atmosphere over time. The atmosphere was rich in carbon dioxide with nitrogen and without oxygen and traces of other gases, such as hydrogen sulfide and hydrogen. Photosynthesis caused the release of free oxygen, O2, into the environment. As CO2 was utilized to fuel photosynthesis, CO2 levels dropped and O2 levels rose. Methane also dropped to trace levels. This affected the overall climate as methane is a greenhouse gas. Temperature and gas change. These two graphs depict the temperature change as the composition of gases in the atmosphere changes as well. As you can see, as CO2 drops in the atmosphere, the temperature also drops. Again, as methane concentration drops, the temperature experiences another drop. Consequences for life on Earth. Oxygen levels stabilized at optimum levels for life between 10 to 20%, in other words very similar to today's levels. Increased oxygen levels also enabled organisms to reach enormous lengths. 3-foot dragonflies, 1-foot roaches, and 6-foot millipedes were found in fossil records. Temperature decreased as greenhouse gases gradually decreased. CO2 is a main component of acid rain. So as CO2 levels decreased, acid rain will become less frequent and harmful. The introduction of O2 could be deadly to some proterozoic organisms. Works cited. Thank you for watching my video.